everyone, and welcome to today's show, The Beautifully Bruised and the CPS Show. I am your host, Latrika Jones, and thank you so much for tuning in today. I just wanted to share with you that we have made it to Freedom Friday. Yes, thank God. God has blessed us to see another Friday. I'm just happy to, being able to move forward, being productive, and just sometimes it's just putting one foot in front of the other and just taking the next step. Okay. Sometimes it's an accomplishment just to be able to do that. So anybody know when I always start my show out, I always give thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because I know without him, I would be absolutely nothing. And I mean that. Like, I say it a lot because I really mean it from my heart. I just think back on a lot of different things I've overcome and things that was, placed probably to just could have taken me out, or the story could have went a totally different way. But by God's grace and mercy, he didn't allow it to take me under. He didn't allow me to collapse. He didn't allow me to fall back a step back. So I'm just grateful, truly grateful for who he is and his strength and his power and his protection and love. It's like no other. So I always say, if you don't know Jesus, you might want to get to know him, okay? Because it's going to be the best investment you can ever have for your life and your family and your kids. So with that being said, again, welcome to our show today. I want to say this thing. I heard someone say this earlier. They said, it may not be long, but the message will be strong. So and I think at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. As long as it makes sense and hopefully it can help you in some kind of shape, form, or fashion. So I don't know what you guys are doing today. I'm hoping you're going to plan to enjoy your weekend. I know here in Texas, the weather is nice, and I got some things I have planned for this weekend that I'm excited about, and I can't wait to get out and just, and try to just enjoy my day. You're always so busy going and moving and doing things to try to help you, your children, your family, and to be able to maybe kind of take a woosah break and just sit back and reflect and just, hopefully you can just, get some time for you. And I have designated this time today to be able to do just that. So I look forward to that. So again, I won't be in front of you long today. I just want to share what was been on my heart. And it's something that honestly, it's something that is really, really, I've been thinking about. And I was like, what is something hopefully that can encourage somebody? As I was going through my CPS cases, getting, whether you were in the process of you just got the card, or you was just at a hospital, a doctor's visit, or school, however CPS has entered into your life, it brings about a lot of uncertainty, right? You don't know, what does this mean? What do I do? What is the first step? Should I take this serious? First and foremost, I'm going to tell you, yes, definitely take it serious. Along with that, I really highly recommend that you seek wise legal counsel. Hopefully you can reach out to Attorney Vince, but if he's not available, I will strongly suggest that you please seek wise legal counsel to help you with your CPS cases, because the sooner you have wise legal counsel, the better it is for you and your children, and they can hurry up and get the whatever you're going through, get it resolved, get the case resolved for you. So the sooner the better. Please do not hesitate. Please do not sit on it. Don't think that you don't have to take it serious, because it's very serious. They can literally, CPS can take your children, and it's not always based on facts. It can be something that appears to be, or seems like. It seemed like to me, I'm no attorney, but I am a mother that have overcome CPS years ago. And by God's grace and mercy, he allowed me to be sitting here in front of you today to hopefully spread some knowledge, some wisdom, and my experience of what I went through and what it was like. And by thankfully to God, I was able to overcome CPS, where the judge had ordered them to return my child back home where he belonged years ago. Okay. So, that's the reason why I'm here. And I'm hoping, like I said, I can bring some type of knowledge to you as you're going through this transition with CPS. And if not, nothing else, just some type of encouragement to tell you that just to keep going. My grandmother always had this famous saying, my grandmother, Rosie Lee Jones, who God blessed to live 106 years, who I recently lost. My heart is still broken, but I'm learning to just continue to go on, because I know that's something I've learned so much from her. Gosh, 106 years. I mean, a plethora of knowledge and wisdom and character and laughter like nothing else. So I thank God I was allowed to be raised by her, to know, so much she learned, and she was always lovable and open to share with me. So, yes, with that being said, I want to hopefully, like I say, bring something on that can hopefully, encourage you no matter what you're going through, whether it's CPS, whether it's dealing with your own life, kids, your family, work. Sometimes we just need some type of hope, some type of words of encouragement. It can go a long way just to know that you're not alone. Whatever you're going through, you're not any by yourself. And to have somebody to come on and to speak life into you and your situation, to me, it really can do it can do some healing to your mind, body, and soul, and your spirit, of course. So with that being said, the word that has really been speaking to me, that I want to come on and share with you, it is called recover. Okay, recover. It might sound simple. It might sound like, why would she say that? But if you really think about, like I say, whether it's your CPS case, you just, got the card, or you're in the middle of your CPS case, or you're getting ready to go to that hearing, that next trial, and you're wondering like, what do I do? Or you maybe don't even want to talk to nobody. You could be feeling alone, ashamed, scared. Just really, sometimes things can really, really take you back, and you honestly just become like lost for words. But I want to tell you another great nugget. My grandmother would tell me, you might give out, but don't never give up. Even if you got to kind of sit down for a minute and regroup, and you got to kind of recalculate. And again, since we're in the R's, regroup, recalculate, how about recover? That's another word you can add to it, because after you sit down and you think about everything you've been faced with, right? Everything you're going through, you got to think about, you got to see that no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, that there has to be a light at the end of the tunnel. I was listening to my worship music this morning. It's called Something Has to Break, by Tasha Cobb. And what is it? I think Kiara Shield. She got married now, but they're, great gospel artists. And again, the song is called Something Has to Break. And basically what that means is, after you have given all you have, after you've done all you can to stand, after all you've done all you can to just not give up, to not throw in a towel. And I do know faith without works is dead, but as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, no matter what that looks like, if it's CPS, if it's your services, if you're going to all of your hearings, hopefully you're attending, as well as, they're asking you to take some additional services. You're doing all your services. You're doing everything that they're asking of you. And sometimes even in those quiet moments, or those indifferent moments, right? You still don't know what to think, because sometimes it can make you feel like, what in the world is happening? What have I gotten myself into? Sometimes in those moments, you really have to sit back and not let the pressure, not let the feeling of disappointment, not let the feelings of, just even uncertainty, even, it can begin to kind of start playing with your mind and making you think that, this is not going to get better. You're not going to recover. The devil can come in all kind of shape, forms, and fashions to try to throw you off, to make you feel defeated. But you have to sometimes, just to close out all the clutter, all the noise, and whatever it is that's in front of you right now, you have to know that you're going to recover. You have to know that some kind of way. I tell everybody, where there is a will, there's a way. And please do not put a period where there should be a comma. Why? Because again, allow God to finish writing your story. Okay, he's not done writing your story yet. No matter how dark it might look, or how, it might not even look like this is going to get any better. But I assure you, he can come in and change the whole game within seconds. That part. That easy. I've seen him do it. He's done it for me. Even as recently this week, it's some things that I've been going through. And I said it was really enough where it should have pretty much took me out. I should have really become depressed or down behind it. And I'm not saying that it's not good for you to feel what you're going through, because yes, I actually think it is good to take it all in. But the thing about that is, don't stay in it. You have to have balance. You have to know, there's a time and place for everything. Like there's seasons that change. I tell myself, even to this day, you might endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. That is word. That is truth. Those are facts. I'm telling you, people that don't give up, people that are persistent, people that are consistent, people that refuses to take no for an answer, they continue to push forward, to press forward, no matter how bad it looks, how bad it seemed, how the report didn't add up to what you was expecting. You would be surprised how you being just persistent and not giving up. That's why I say, I kid you not. It could be the last second of the hour, and God can step in and turn that thing all the way around. You never know what God will do. God works in mysterious ways. And again, I'm not telling you something I heard. I'm telling you something I live. I'm telling you something I know. He actually did it for me this week. And like I said, it was some things that I could have easily just, stayed in depressed. I was depressed about, could have stayed depressed about it, could have got back in the bed, could have got real sad, isolated myself. But did I do that? Most people would do that. And it's easy to do that, right? When you're going through so much. But I was just determined to just be like, you know what? I'm going to push through this thing. I might have given out, but guess what? I'm getting back up. I'm getting back in the game. And I just started doing things that could help prepare me for what I was trying to do. I didn't have all the answers. I didn't even know how it was going to work out. But I do believe in God. And I said this. I talked to God. I prayed. And I said, listen, God knows what we need. And he knows where I'm at. And as long as I'm trying to do the best I can do with what I have, guess what? In the nick of time, and I mean literally out of nowhere, I could almost just cry about what have occurred, but it has blessed me in ways that words can never describe. And I know it was God. And I do think it's because I was diligent. I didn't give up. I could have stayed. I could have been in depression and stayed there. I could have stayed in defeat. I could have stayed in isolation, but no, I got up and I got to moving. And whatever that may look like for you, whatever it is you're going through, somebody might say, hey, you're not going to come out of the CPS case. But again, the devil is a liar. Don't accept no for an answer. Do not put a period where there should be a comma. Okay. Get up, go call attorneys, call an attorney bench show, set up a consultation just to see what it's like. If he's not available, call some nearby attorneys that's near you where you're located at. Do something to try to help you get to where you need to be, especially if it's regarding your children. It's worth the fight. I can assure you, I lost a lot when I was dealing with my CPS case years ago. I lost my home. I lost my car. I lost finances. I lost assets. I lost a lot. It was a huge, huge sacrifice. And even after I lost so much, I had the caseworker to tell me, isn't it something else you want to do with your life? Like, isn't it something else you want to do that you can be working on? And I was just raised by my mom. You don't give up on your kids. I'm sorry. You don't give up on your kids. So I couldn't think of, in my right mind, anything that's more important than making sure my child is back home where he belongs. So I responded back, and I've shared this before on the story. No, there's nothing else I want to do but get my child back home and close this case out. And when I said that, I noticed she didn't respond. So that showed her that I am determined. I am not going to just sit and fall at the wayside. Whatever y'all give me, I'm going to take it. No, I'm not. I am fighting for what's right, and I am fighting for my children, and I'm fighting for what belongs to me. So she should have known by my determination that I refuse to just fall or go by whatever they tell me. Because a lot of times they may tell you something. If you don't have a CPS caseworker that doesn't have integrity, sometimes they can say things to you just to see how you're going to respond. Maybe they can even use those words against you. So you never want to throw in the towel. Even when you feel tired yourself, don't never let them see you sweat. Don't never go along with say, well, yeah, I am tired. I do need a break. If I do need a break, I'm not going to get it till my child is back home. And if I do need a break, I'm not going to tell you, so you have to be cautious about what you say and who you say it to, because everybody is not for you, right? Everybody's not in it for you to win it. So you have to be protective of your words, and you definitely have to keep fighting. Because I can tell you for a fact, another example, once they seen that I was determined to not give up on my child. At the end of that very final hearing, you know what they told me? What the attorney, what the CPS workers shared with me? They were like, you overcame. You overcame. You did not quit. You did not, everything that we were doing. And my attorney shared, they're doing a lot to you. And they were. But, once you make up in your mind that, this is not an option to quit. It's not an option to give up. I don't care if the end results is not what you expected, but just know within yourself, you've done all that you can do. You know what I'm saying? You have literally done everything within your means that at the end of the day, I tried. I gave it all I had and then some. And sometimes you never know. And that very last drop may be where God may step in and say, you know what? I'm going to help this. I'm going to help my child. I'm going to do something to change the whole game, the way this is being played right now. So that's why I strongly recommend, do not give up fighting for your children. I can assure you, when I got down to those last quarters of those hearings, and there's several hearings, right? Even though I was tired, I was losing weight, oh my gosh, I went through every emotion you could probably imagine. But it just seemed like it was almost at the end of the time of when the hearings were beginning to be approaching, to be a determination being made regarding the, where my child would be. That's what it came down to. And it just seemed like literally almost at the end of those hearings, at the end of that time frame, is where God began to renew me and to rebuild my strength. I'm telling you, it was all, and I know it wasn't my strength. It had to be God's, because you've been through something for so long. Eventually it begins to wear out and take a toll on you, right? And it just honestly seemed like with me, strength just came just all of a sudden, and my thinking started beginning to be better. And I began to just refocus and rethink and just pull myself back together again. That's why I say it is important to regroup. It is important to rethink. Why? Prayerfully, so you will be able to recover. Like this week, I've been through some great challenges, but I never quit. I never throw it in a towel. Actually, I tried even harder as things was trying to come at me even stronger. And I can assure you, I was overtaken by what God had done, and it's still happening. So I just assure you, if you keep going, if you don't quit, you might give out, but don't give up. Get back in the game. Keep fighting. Keep trying. Work with your diligence. Do whatever it takes to see what you can do to help that child in CPS, whether it's your child or not. If you're a family member, if you're a friend of a person being invested by CPS right now, a grandparent, aunt, an uncle, a cousin, whoever, a brother, whatever you can do, please help that child, because you have no idea how it can definitely make well, my goodness, it will help you. It will basically determine where that child will end up in life. And statistics show a child is much better with their family versus being in a foster care CPS custody. Okay. So with that being said, I definitely want to share with you, and I want to tell you too, continue to log in, tune into these platforms. That's what this is about. Attorney Vince come on as I think he's been a wise legal attorney nearly 40 years or longer. He brings a lot of great nuggets and advice and wisdom that can hopefully help you with what you're dealing with. If you tune into his show, tune into my show. I bring on guests from time to time that's been victims to CPS and have also overcame CPS, and people that have worked for CPS and people that they go through to help them with CPS. A lot of great knowledge of wisdom and nuggets and information. You can tune into this platform 24/7. You can also you can subscribe, you can share. I wished I had this kind of wealth of information when I was going through my case, but I didn't years ago. But thank God you do now. So I would definitely plug in, engage, utilize anything you can to help you with fighting to get your children back. Okay. And with that being said, recover is something that I've been hearing strong in my spirit, and sometimes you know what recover means, but to hear the definition of recover, sometimes it just connects the dots. Like, for example, when you hear recover, the definition for recover is to get back, okay, to regain, to get back, to regain your CPS, to get your children back, to regain your custody, to bring back to normal position or condition. It stumbled, then recovered himself or herself. Maybe it's something you went through that it took you out of place. It took you, and that's something I can relate to as well, even here recently in my own life, something that I went through. It left me kind of shocked, honestly, in reference to what occurred. And if you're not careful, like I say, your mind will get the best of you, and you begin to start wondering, and it'll just kind of make you go in places that you don't want to go, and bring about, maybe uncertainty or even fear. And sometimes you have to know how to not, like I say, it's okay to feel certain things, but just don't stay there. You have to recover. You have to come back out of it and regain your train of thought. Go back to a healthy place, a healthy way of thinking about something. Because if you don't, it can't be good to stay in something like that. Okay. So, I think that's a great definition. When you think about recover, you think about it, it says to bring back to normal position or condition where you might have stumbled, but you're back in recovering, that then recovered himself, then recovered herself. So yes, you might have went somewhere, or you might have been in a place you shouldn't have been in, but thank God you were able to be restored. You were able to recover yourself and get yourself back together, and, regroup and reset yourself. So that's a good thing. Another definition for recover is to make up for, recover in something increased, whether it's something that you lost financially, even with CPS, your children, you're trying to make up. That's why you're tuning into these shows. That's why you hired a wise legal attorney who knows CPS laws, who knows how to be aggressive, who's willing to do the work and fight for you until your child or children are back home where they belong. That is another great way when you think about recovered. I recovered my losses. I'm doing the work as I'm going through this process of seeking a wise legal attorney. I'm also reading up. I'm learning what my laws are, because parents do have rights, and trust me, they will violate your rights if you don't know them. So it's good to go to read up on those laws, to know what your rights are, to make sure that they're not being violated by CPS, right? Another great definition for recover. And again, I won't be in front of you long. I just want to share some things that I think that's important when you're going through CPS, or even not just CPS, life period. If something has knocked you off your feet, whether it's a medical report, whether it's a job, whether it's family or friends or relationship, and sometimes it can leave you stagnated, right? Sometimes it makes you feel lost. You don't know what to do. You kind of become stuck. You almost feel stuck, like you don't know what should I do next? And the only thing, you can do is just try to figure things out, right? Because we're all work in progress. No one has mastered this thing. Nobody is perfect but God, right? So we're learning sometimes, well, a lot of times as we're going. So with that being said, we're talking about recovering from whatever that is that you can, that you've been dealing with, that you're currently going through right now in life. I'm trying to give you something to think about, which is recover. How can you recover from that thing that's affecting you right now, whether it's CPS or it's something else personally that you're dealing with in your life? But again, it's showing another definition of recover is to obtain, okay, to save from loss and restore to usefulness. That's another good one. To regain a normal position or condition. I think of regaining a normal position is basically, if your child, I know when my child was in CPS, it's like you regaining back your rights as a parent, right? To me, it was kind of weird. Someone you've given birth to, who you've raised, you've dedicated your life to, you've invested all you have as a parent to help raise your child. And now he or she is living with somebody else. They're making the decisions over what your child is going to eat, what they're going to wear, where they're staying even. To me, that was very weird. It's just, it was just weird to me to go in some of those visitations and then you're just seeing, it's almost like you're visiting it's weird to visit your own child. I'm sorry. Now, I guess if you're incarcerated or something like that, that you have no choice, right? You're not out in the free world. But if you're in the free world and you're having to visit your child, just psychologically, that was very thrown off to me. So so to be able to regain your normal position back, which is what, being that parent and you making those decisions of where they eat, where you're going to, buy their outfit at, or where you're going to go grocery shopping and where they're going to be at, what time you're going to pick them up. You regain your custody of being the parent back to that child, where you don't have to go through CPS. You don't have to, set up a date and time with the foster parents or things of that sort, or, your caseworker, things like that. So to be able to regain a normal, and that's the great word, because that's normal to me. Visiting your child is not normal. It just sounds weird. I'm going to visit my child. No, your child should be home where they belong. Okay. So, yes. So that's a great definition. When you recover, look at it like that. When I recover my children back, I will be able to regain my normal position as their parent. Or I can make decisions on my child again without going through somebody else, so that really makes a lot of sense to me. A great way to explain what recover means, as well as the very final definition is recover is also to obtain a final judgment in one's favor. Okay. And when I read that, recover, and I'm going to read it one more time, to obtain a final legal judgment in one's favor. And that immediately takes me back to my final hearing years ago, when the judge had made the final determination to return my child back home where he belonged. And I tell you, the words that day, I can remember like yesterday, believe it or not. But when I heard those words come out of that judge's mouth, I could have collapsed to the ground. And that caseworker, that should have been a time where I should have went over and told her, now I am getting ready to take a break. Yes, there are some things that we're getting ready to do. Okay. Now I can answer that question. Why? Because my child is back home where they belong. And I didn't give up and I didn't quit. And that's when they actually said at that time, you overcame. So again, that's the importance of why you can't quit. That's the importance why you shouldn't put a period where there should be a comma. That's the importance where you might give out, you might take a break, you might reset, but get back in the game, because it's not over yet. God is not through writing your story. You never know how it's going to end up. It might be the very final moment before the tables begin to turn. So that's why you should never honestly quit. Don't never ever give up fighting for your kids. And what I would like to do for you today, if it's someone that is watching, whether you're watching the live show, or I tell you what, if there is someone that is going through something where they just, you just feel like you're defeated. You just feel depressed. You feel isolated. You feel ashamed. You feel sad. You feel alone. I tell you what, if that's something that you're truly feeling, I wrote a book about how I felt some of those same things. And as I began to go through my CPS case at the time, years ago, God shared with me, start journaling, start writing things down. And everything that I went through, which a lot was like what I just mentioned, God said, I just honestly, I know he gave me divine strategies, how to not quit, how to cope, how to just persevere in spite of. He gave me the strength to continue to go on to all those visits, all those drug tests. I've never done drugs in my entire life. But again, I went through everything they did. And like my attorney shared, they are really doing a lot to you, but that's okay. She said there must be a God, because he must be hearing your prayers, because literally everything they have tried to do to you have dropped to the ground and collapsed. Every single attack, everything that they thought they could use to hurt you, to harm you, to go against you, nothing is working. And she said that back then. I'm laughing now because I get it now. But if you're going through it, you're like, what? But at the time, she was like, everything, I'm looking at everything. And this is my attorney saying this. She said, I'm looking at everything they're doing and nothing is working. So she said, God has to be listening to your prayers. So keep doing what you're doing. And with that being said, I began to, obedience is better and greater than sacrifice. So everything God was saying, start sharing in your story, start journaling. I wrote it down. And that was and I have a copy of my book, actually. That was my weapon that I used against CPS during my time. And I can assure you that I overcame and I got my child back home where he belonged. And somebody right now that may be listening, that may be going through some of those same feelings of feeling, down, discouraged, depressed, even anxiety, scared, whatever you might feeling. I tell you what, if you reach out to the show right now, I will send you a free copy, actually 2 people. If you want something to encourage you right now as you're going through your CPS case, and this is not just about CPS only, because I have a dear friend that read it recently. She said, girl, this is a book for life. It's not only just CPS. She can relate to CPS too, but she said, I could use this in my regular life. So it's not only limited to CPS. So I'm telling you, I'm praying it'll bless you. And I would like to bless you with, if you do feel discouraged right now with your CPS case or anything that you're dealing with, the first 2 people that reach out to the show, Grace, the producer, I will send you a free copy, all, shipping and handling paid to you. And hopefully it would encourage you and inspire you to know how I overcame what CPS tried to do to me, and some other things as well of sharing how I overcame. And I hope it'll bless you. I do believe God told me to write it for a reason. And people have told me that. I had one lady that, and I would say this before I get ready to wrap the show, you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. But I had one lady that told me that one morning, I think she was sitting in her job's parking lot early in the morning before her shift. I think it was maybe like 5 or 6, 7. It was early in the morning. And she had really became so discouraged from what she was going through in her own life, relationships, kids, and everything, that she actually got to a point where she didn't want to live anymore. And again, you never know what your words would do to a person. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And that particular morning, I was on a radio show sharing my story, Beautifully Bruised, in the CPS show. And as I was sharing my story, I was speaking about what I was going through, the challenges of it, the pain of it, and just everything you can imagine that was just becoming unrevealed, was being revealed in my life, these great obstacles and challenges where I just felt like it was too big for me to overcome. But I started sharing my truth. Transparency transforms. Iron sharpens irons. And I never knew that when I got off from doing that radio show, that she sent me an email saying, you have no idea. I was so down and depressed and just really about to give up. I had made up in my mind that I didn't even want to live anymore. But when I heard you on the radio this morning, what the words that you sowed into my life, what I heard in my ears, it made me reconsider. It made me not throw in the towel. It made me not give up. And that's why I never take anything for granted. I never take any platform for granted, because you never know who's listening. You never know where people are. Just because they're smiling on the outside doesn't mean they're smiling on the inside. I never knew that morning when I did that show talking about my book and how I overcame CPS and all these other great challenges I was dealing with. Relationships, everything. Like I say, like my friends say, this is a book about life that people can learn from and be inspired and give them hope. She and recently she shared that with me. But I just want to say that I never knew by just going on that radio show that morning talking about my book, that somebody was in the parking lot early in the morning on their job, a mother, saying that she had made up in her mind that was going to be maybe her last day, that she had made up in her mind that she wasn't going to try anymore. And when just hearing those words, something, thank God, had made her not quit, made her not give up, and to continue to live another day. And to me, if nothing else, if I didn't write the book for nothing else, that blessed me to know that helped somebody to not end their life, to continue to go forward. So I know how important it is saying the right words, speaking life into people, because sometimes you never know what you say can change the direction on whether or not a person wants to continue with their life, with their children, it all is so important. So, and it all works together. So we have to be mindful of the words that we use, because we never know what someone may be going through and how those words can affect them. Okay. So with that being said, again, the word for today is recover. No matter what you've been through, know that it's not over. Don't put a period where there needs to be a comma, because God is not through writing your story. You might give out, but don't ever give up for fighting for your children. And I am a living witness and a testimony. I have been through some great challenges, but even this week, I am amazed and overtaken how God have turned some things around for me that, oh my God, words cannot even begin to show how I am amazed how he did it just like that. And I mean, like that, just like that. Okay, that part. That's how fast he changed it. So that's why I say, no matter how it looks, God can still come in at the nick of time and change that thing around in your favor. Okay. So again, I just want to tell you that don't ever give up fighting for your babies. They're worth the sacrifice. Get you a wise legal attorney Vance if he's available. If not, please find an attorney that knows CPS laws and they are aggressive and willing to do the work to fight for you, to make sure that child or children are back home with you where they belong. Okay. With that being said, please keep God first. Don't never, ever give up on God, because guess what? I am here today as a living testimony, letting you know God is what got me through to my CPS case and everything else in my life. I assure you of that. So please keep God first. Don't never give up fighting for your children. Think about what recover means to you. Won't you go ahead and whatever it is going on in your own personal life, when you think about recover, what is it that you're trying to recover from? Okay. And why would you want to recover? So keep that on your mind today. And hopefully that'll make sense for you, and it'll help bring more understanding why you need to keep fighting for your children. Because again, it's not over yet. God has the final answer. He has the final say so. Okay. So don't ever give up fighting for your kids. Keep God first. I am your host, Latrika Jones. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great weekend.